very importantly speaking, based on this type of tea solution. In other words, this is uh, kind of a way of deducting things for this mom. Hopefully, I did not. I would say I probably did not. Could be based on some type of geometry countries here, genetics countries airport. So it's when it gets there at the airport, oftentimes the mom already would do it at this spot here with herself. Now the time which she was, it probably was based on the child. That Y and that Y child has to be resuscitated from her birth records. So I guess it followed her to that New Amsterdam and captured things of solar, that type of stylus. I don't know, something of this nature. Something of a stylus here, and I pop that back in there. And I guess the pets would bring it to something of a 500 of a dinosaur with things of these here, and this based on, I guess, anything that long. So it would have this, but we are probably not concerned with this right now, so the mom would kind of fold that in. Concerned about this plitar based on the family, and we would find this there. And the gravity of this could hinder something over 5,000 for the mom, depending on your deduction, and I have notes. I have notes. So it's Hamburgs. That's the difference. No notes. So now it sends a message to say the Hamburg more of it was based on this notes. Yes, no, this $20 of the Bank of Guyana, and could be right there at the Demerara Bank, right at this spot, as opposed to this spot at the airport, where I would have to get to the bank to get my money, it seems, so that I don't live on the outside. Now, it's a funny detail when we're dealing with the Kaieteur folks, why they would, but I don't seem to be friendly with the serpents, those massive anacondas. Have to be paid, okay? So if it has to be paid in that type of color, then I find it here where it has to be paid, and we get a glimpse of it that's way. And oftentimes we see it here of when she gets in to the land of Guyana, and oftentimes carries these with her this time, of how we get our funding to get to study these things. Now, I don't think anything else is seeking to escape with this type of schema that mom has done again. So it kind of folds it in. Just wanted to let how was the payment done, and staying away from this part things. Yes, mom works. Why? We're dealing with a principle of mom. I guess this type of is interesting, but it could say if she did this, could do that part, and so it could be somebody who's at the country's inn and didn't get what was supposed to be. So it would be something that has lost a pen and cannot seem to find the pen, and that's how mom would describe that part. So I suppose it works with the back of something of the United States that could lack even this part here, lack this here, and when it comes lacking this way, becomes something that is a person of this from the land of Guyana, and has to wait on the law to be established one day. In the meantime, it gets pelted. If the mom encountered it, could have this going on, and sees all that type of chromatic pennies. If you're realizing this is a problem with your back today, and puts it not away. So it's no more and becomes dangerous for the data. Something of a 365 of a PowerPoint presentation. So now it doesn't seem to want to deal with, so it becomes quite something of a bottle, and the bottle could have been established already, so it would seek a route this way, and that's too much money for knowing that type of person with anything that is obvious evidence is this woman, so it will be dealt with apart, very apart, so that it's itself, because it could be doing these things to control the lady, and the lady is fulfilled with this of herself, and if she has to kind of make those type of decision and put the days based on September, has to be able to challenge this part of herself to see where this is going, and feel confidence about it kind of brings her in a bit, so she'll take the time and study this out. Now when it puts this, the girl can get scared, so she would do it that way. In other words, mom will do it like this way, eventually speaking, so she would do that part, and this she recognizes it, cannot yet, because of something of an intercessor. An intercessor could be the girl's dad. So I would say, I guess it answers the question of why the delays are extremely excruciating and important, why this could have been sabotaged to the extent of not being able to stay away from the TEC completely, and have to deal with something of a bottle this way to understand those things goes. That's throw. The guy said throw this way. So when it's those ways, these things have to come out. When it gets to a level of a study this way, with this type of blockage this way, like a disc in there, I guess the disc could be land knots, ocean knots, and how we deal with each other away from the family. So oftentimes it demands something of a Zoom, and the Zoom was probably established and ignores. If the girl peeps to the other side, she recognized that they're demanding something of a monetary in Guyana, and that ceases today. And getting into the land to see what other monetary you guys are asking for. So this sense animosity, why it goes a little far. And when we get there, oftentimes these things have to be this way with that here. In other words, that's there. There's something of a things there. The way they forged it has to be very not slacking, and that's a problem. When it's not slacking, it kind of incorporates things to be done for show off and not things that are T-flow. So it has to be a T-flow. This type of T-flow could have it this with them all. So something of this can take place. So if these things cannot be seen that way. It's taken lately, this type of, I don't know, this tent after 32 days. 2 days of washing her feet. It's not to be taken lightly, it seems. It has to say that it has its and has to be respected. Yes, no? It just comes to a point where it just gravitates. There, it seems. Yep. So when it does that part, these type of things are always modular, I suppose, and have to be dealt with. Now, I guess the next thing is kind of demanding. Is it a talk in French or English? And I guess that's to the discrepancy of how her hands shakes this girl. See why this type of things could be this way. So she couldn't see so, but I can always see this thing. I understand that it's like a down, but you can. So what is disturbing? It's probably just the correctness of this part here. Who are up a part of this type of ocean left. So voila, your dynasty was echoed by notes, just notes. So once it does it that way, it has things of Apple that she did, for example, that it's coming back based on that type of crochet and that type of thing here. So whatever that thing was. And when it does it that way, if it seeks to be seen, then I guess I'll get it in a minute and send that out so that it could take a little time. And oftentimes, when this gets this way, it's a difficult task, but the task has to send, say that the airport could demand of them that way for this to be studied with something of analyst. An analyst would have to be solar. So if it's a bigger man in the street, the bigger man will be taking in to the police and seek what is it that's causing him. If it's a Q code, then the Q code probably is of the pharmacy. So he's suspecting he has a Q code of the pharmacy, and he could have it for all of the pharmacies. There's 3 pharmacies in Parika, but I suspect I know which one based on not the dodanes. This type of, there's another data store over there. If this one shuts down, and that part delivered it to this, they're suspecting, so that this could be dealt with. So this type of Q code would lead to something of at that amount of time, based on this type of talks here. Why this type of man? He's not wanting to do so, and finds that the man could be a bottle walking around this way. So if he is, and he sees, well, I probably will not be living in Puerto Rico for that. Why? Because it could be driving her straight to charity that way. So it kind of lets her know that certain characters in this type of home waits for her also, and working in bank facilities. So it will say it's the Q code of the pharmacy of Parika. And when you get that part, you get to find out where is this in the store. So where is it in the store leads to really charity, it seems. So I would say I think something about the Q code in the pharmacy of Parika. In other words, where is the Parika? I guess it's in like based on the ocean. Parika would be this lacking, and this lacking OC, this lacking OC. So it's where would be ocean that we are currently looking for the Q code. So the Q code will take us to this type of ocean of this type of charity. And once we get to that part, we have to just book those type of hotel types and reside there. So that will permit us to get to know ourselves this way. And I guess based on that part there, the home with the family that last time, it could have not been known at all, and made some decisions based on probably YouTube and not La Pluie. And when it calculates, it only gets back to something of a something dangerous, instead of something that destroyed the church. So these type of discrepancies would say, okay, if mom has to travel there by herself, this part will be removed completely, and an insurance would be there for this part that blocks there, based on Parika as soon as she touches down at the airport. Now if she make two there, then I guess it really tips the country this way. When she gets the charity and pulls out, cannot, based on, I guess, it's the juice part, it has gone too long, and realize you have allowed people to be comfortable of the situation instead of get going. So once those things are done, the heir of the 12 gen steps in and do that work. She doesn't find peace yet until she purchases her tickets, have her place to stay, and is ready to hammock herself. And that's what I guess her gifting would be today, and not to be the heir of the United States of America. What makes her Mar? She has a sacred personality, it seems, and has to investigate that's character to see who he was, for her to kind of get to this radicalism after that intervention. Yes, no, after something mark on them, like a toe mark on them. This, I guess, where that ocean is and that oceanic view is. When you have this here, then the mom has this part of her based on the cue card, it seems, and makes them not able to run from her. And once we're not into breaking the people, we're into and go on. And oftentimes, based on that type of study, based on the lower, gets this amount of money, enough to be able to pay her monthly fees and get her meals to eat with the amount she has now. So, with that being said, does she need ticket money? Probably. Based on this part, she may need ticket money, and this is probably where the Q code of the pharmacy of Parika seeks to put her in the airport for that amount of days, and has this available for her in the airport. So oftentimes, I guess when she gets in, if she has to do this by herself, what causes it would be the ticking of the clock that way. And oftentimes, no, she doesn't recognize it and can make foolish decisions. Yes, no, she could make hatred pause. In other words, instead of juice, she can seek McDonald's, for example, and spend a lot of time in McDonald's before. If it's seek to be on the side where you have to get on, she quarrels, or she exposes it and then sneaks back in. They're suspecting, so it doesn't want it autrement, but we probably cannot, based on something of a juice in America. So what the girl will get to complain about is this something of this. This girl would have it. Would be this part here, this cream. She would complain about it this way and make it legal, and doesn't need a lawyer for that part. So she would go straight to this type of PowerPoint presentation, Mason M, this part, and see cream there, and get it this way, and doesn't want to go So it will be just the connector, which means there's no talks, and that will affect our relationship, and blames this on just the cream that didn't wipe out the evidences of depictions and put us as haters of ourselves. So this would say no talks, and it doesn't concern about that traverse. So this seizes America. We like that part there, but we are not sensing a connector. So the connector would be something of a this, they're thinking. And where it is, I don't seem to know where that connector is. And I could sense putting it on this or this becomes quite fatal up gone. So it has to be somewhere with, I don't know, this type of lips of the child and nowhere else. So it's, they're thinking. Getting it on Facebook really shakes. So why? Because we don't know where the connector is. So it has to have a connector that declenches a legal talk just between this mom and this daughter, based on something that is based on this type of dam there connected to the pharmacy, and basically nothing else. So with that being said, I have to deal with it this way and not by law, and suffice with my this part here in America lacking with illegality. I cannot accept it as a here. So it ceases. So once it ceases, we have to realize there's a big discrepancy in there that cannot allow. It has to be that net and nothing else. So it's once they're doing this, I cannot seize that. Yes, no, I cannot stomach that. Yes, no, it cannot happen in the smashings. So it probably did smash the mom, the connector, and these things are going away from them. So once it ceases, they're thinking they have to put them back to work. Yes, no, I don't know that type of co-op. Now, mom could have a co-op dealing with these things in Perica with this type of juice, and it has to deal with it kind of quickly while it's probably rising. So if it's co-op juice, then it needs the connector to do so. And oftentimes you will see that method and the girl would know so. So I would probably have to go and check that out in Perica and then put this away. With that being said, have a great day, my loves, and knows that this seeks to be horrendous.